Yeah, actually, I mean, there are a number of trends that have an influence on business education, but obviously, I think that the crisis that we are currently experiencing is one of the main ones. I mean, we see a rebalancing of the business education world with more and more influence from business schools coming from emerging countries. I mean, when you look at what's going on in Asia with double-digit growth rates, definitely they need to grow their business schools, and these business schools are now internationalizing, and they have a huge influence, I would say, not only there, but also in other parts of the world. And I can also mention other emerging countries. I mean, Turkey, for instance, is a very important country, growing at almost 10% this year. So definitely, there is a redistribution of management education all over the world. I'm not saying that the US model is completely obsolete or that Europe is going down the drain. Not at all. I think they still have a lot of value. However, we see more and more business schools emerging of very high quality in other parts of the world. So that would be the first one. The second one is clearly the digital world that has entered everywhere in our lives. I mean, we all have a smartphone, and we read our emails, we interact through webinars, I mean, all these things. And this, of course, has an influence on the mode of delivery for the students. So professors have to adapt, the students also have to adapt to this new system of delivery. So I think it's also a very important element. If I look at global trends, there is a third one that is, in my opinion, extremely important and critical. This is all the elements related to the legitimacy. We see today that with the crisis, a number of institutions have lost their legitimacy. If you look at financial institutions, the banks, if you look at the political world, I mean, all together, they have lost a lot of legitimacy. People don't have trust, they don't put trust in them. And this definitely affects institutions like us. And we have also to show our difference and preach another way of managing organizations and a better governance altogether. So I believe these three trends are crucial and very critical at the moment for business education. Yes, so, I mean, I've mentioned in the trends that this digitalization of education and in general has a very important influence. However, I think it's very good, certainly for basic education, even though now you have more and more sophisticated tools to, let's say, provide education and learning. However, I think it's just a part of the system, and the face-to-face is at the utmost importance, because you can convey different elements when you deal face-to-face. On the other hand, I mean, the dematerialization of relations is good in a certain extent, but on the other hand, I mean, we are all human beings and we need to know each other to do business together. It's very nice to interact with a Chinese businessman or a Chinese professor through a screen, but it does not really replace a physical contact. We need to understand each other, and you don't necessarily always understand each other so well only by, let's say, digital connection. So I think it's very complementary. It certainly is a huge progress in the learning process. However, it should go in combination with face-to-face and with human, let's say, contacts. It's a very ambivalent point, this one. I mean, and we can agree, but only partly. It's true that there was a generation of students and graduates that were told, you're the best in the world. I mean, you shouldn't accept a salary lower than that because your value is much higher, etc., etc. We had this kind of value, I agree. However, don't forget that companies played a very difficult role in the past years. I mean, when we were, let's say, starting, let's say, in the 90s, 80s, 90s, when the shareholder value took over everything, so when everything that was important was just the fact that the share would go up, people and managers too I mean, in general, in companies, were regarded as variable costs. And the point was to say, look, I mean, you are not at the right level for the share value, then we are going to fire these people. So we destroyed, if you will, the corporate culture. And people did not feel at ease within organizations. And I think it's a huge issue. So today we are rediscovering what? The stakeholder value. Saying that a company should not focus only on the value of the share, on the financial, let's say, elements, but on being also a good citizen. A good citizen with its suppliers, with its customers, even with its competitors in a certain extent, and also take care of the general environment. So the first environment that matters for you, definitely this is your people. And you have to recreate within organizations, I would say, a psychosociological environment that is favorable for them to give the best of themselves and not feel endangered all the time. So, your point is very important, but I'm not certain it's the fault of graduates. Maybe companies with this stupid shareholder value went too far, and then obviously the pendulum went the other way around, and people became more exigent because they felt more at risk. So we have to find a new deal now between graduates and companies.